My buddy tricked me into his villa, saying he had a girl who could be both elegant and sweet to introduce to me. As soon as I entered, he locked the door from the outside. There was indeed a beauty standing in the living room, his own sister, and my icy ex-girlfriend from 3 years ago. My buddy cried out from outside the door, "Bro Lin, if you don't get back together with my sister today, she'll kill me. Please, I'm begging you." I looked at the woman before me. She still had that aloof demeanor, her eyes cold enough to freeze ice shards. I just want to lie flat. I just want to be a useless bum waiting to die. What the hell is this all about? Chapter 1. Bro Lin, emergency in the Jianghu. The limited edition motorcycle in my garage has arrived. Come and help me check it out. On the phone, Chase's voice sounded as excited as if he'd found money. I was lying by the heated pool on the rooftop apartment, enjoying the 3 o'clock sunshine, listening to a little tune. On the floating tray beside me were freshly cut, chilled fruits and a glass of homemade plum wine. Comfortable, this is my life's pursuit, lying flat and doing it in varied, comfortable ways. As a glorious transmigrator, I arrived in this male-oriented power fantasy novel I had read. Fortunately, I didn't become the protagonist or the antagonist, but rather transmigrated into a cannon fodder trust fund kid who gets slapped by the protagonist right at the start, the eldest son of the Lin family, Liam. A stroke of luck in this misfortune is that while Liam bears the title of cannon fodder, in reality, his family's business has long been managed meticulously by a group of loyal, hard-working subordinates. Its hidden strength even far surpasses that of the original protagonist. And the original owner of this body seemed to have long grown tired of the cutthroat business world, wanting only to be a hands-off boss, leaving everything to trusted aides while focusing solely on enjoying life. This role was practically tailor-made for me. After arriving, I took lying flat to the extreme. I lazily rolled over, picked up a piece of honeydew melon, and stuffed it into my mouth. What's so great about motorcycles? Are they as comfortable as this sunshine? Come on bro, it's the real deal, only 10 in the world. If you don't come, I won't be able to sleep. Chase whined and threw a tantrum on the other end. I sighed. Chase, the only person in this life I could somewhat consider a brother. A simple-minded, physically robust, naive rich kid, and also the younger brother of my ex-girlfriend, Serena. 3 years ago, Serena and I broke up in an extremely ugly way. That ice queen looked at me with eyes full of contempt, as if I were trash, and said word by word, "Liam, you're nothing but worthless mud that can't even be plastered on a wall. Besides eating, drinking, and having fun, what else can you do? We're not from the same world." At that time, I hadn't transmigrated yet, and the original owner was utterly devastated, smashing the engagement party on the spot and becoming a laughingstock in our circle ever since. After I transmigrated, my only comment on this past incident was, "Good riddance. How exhausting is dating? Nothing beats lying flat." "No, I'm not going. Don't bother me. I'm hanging up." I was about to end the call when Chase panicked and played his trump card. "Sis, my sister is here too. She said she needs to talk to you." I paused. Serena? What does that woman want from me? 3 years. It's been 3 years, and we haven't even added each other on WeChat. Could it be that the original plot is about to start? Is she teaming up with the original protagonist to mess with me, her ex-fiancé? In an instant, 100 possibilities flashed through my mind, each one threatening to seriously disrupt my lying flat lifestyle. No, I have to go check it out. I need to nip any potential disturbance to my lying flat life in the bud. Address. I sat up, my voice turning cold. Half an hour later, I drove an unremarkable commuter car and parked in front of Chase's extravagant hillside villa. Chase rushed out to greet me like a big golden retriever, his face plastered with an ingratiating smile. "You're finally here." I glanced at him and walked straight in. "Where's Ruyan?" In the living room." Chase's eyes darted around evasively. Stepping into the living room, I spotted the woman at once. She was wearing a well-tailored white suit dress, her long hair meticulously pinned up at the back. Standing with her back to me before the huge floor-to-ceiling window, her figure was aloof and cold, like a lotus blooming atop a snowy mountain. Hearing footsteps, she slowly turned around. 3 years apart, she seemed even more beautiful and even colder. Her stunning face showed no expression, and her beautiful eyes gazed at me calmly, as if looking at a stranger. A faint ripple of the original owner's lingering emotion stirred within me, but I quickly suppressed it. Troublesome, that was my first impression of her. Just then, the door behind me clicked shut, followed by the sound of a key turning in the lock. I whirled around. Chase's big face had already vanished behind the door, and from outside came his tearful howl. "Brother Lin, I'm sorry. If you don't get back together with my sister today, she'll kill me. Please, just have a good talk inside. You damn it." I took a deep breath, turned back, and met Serena's calm, unblinking eyes. She just looked at me quietly, not saying a word. The atmosphere was so awkward you could carve out a 3-bedroom apartment. I rubbed my temples, feeling like my lying flat plan had encountered its biggest crisis ever. Is what Chase said true? I broke the silence first. Are you going to kill him? Serena's eyelashes trembled slightly, as if caught off guard by my blunt question. She finally spoke, her voice as cool as her demeanor, with a barely noticeable hint of hoarseness. He's talking nonsense. Oh, I nodded. Then please ask him to open the door. I have things to do. My thing is to go back and continue lying flat. Serena looked at me, her lips moving as if she wanted to say something, but in the end, she said nothing. She just picked up a document from the nearby coffee table and handed it to me. What is this? I didn't take it. A contract, she said. What kind of contract? A reconciliation contract. I laughed in disbelief. In all my years, this is the first time I've heard of needing to sign a contract to get back together. Serena, are you mistaken about something? I tugged at the corner of my mouth. 3 years ago, you said we weren't from the same world. Now your brother tricked me into coming here, locked me up, and forced me to get back together with you. Do you think this is interesting? She looked at me and finally, there was a flicker of emotion in her eyes. A complex feeling I couldn't decipher, like pain or struggle. Liam, she said softly, about what happened 3 years ago? I'm sorry. I don't need your apology, I said coldly. I just want to leave this place. You can't go, she said, her tone light but carrying an undeniable firmness. But she remained silent for a long time, so long that I thought she wouldn't speak again. Then she said something that made my brain short-circuit, because 3 years ago, it wasn't me who wanted to break up with you. She lowered her gaze, her long eyelashes casting a shadow on her face. They used Chase's life to force me to leave you. Chapter 2. For a few seconds, my mind went blank. What the hell? Using Chase's life to force her to break up? What kind of 8 o'clock soap opera drama is this? The original story didn't write this part. I stared at Serena, trying to find any trace of a lie on her icy face, but there was none. Her eyes only held exhaustion and deeply hidden pain. I instinctively asked, someone you can't afford to provoke. Serena avoided my gaze. He took a liking to me, and also to the Vance family's business. Back then, she paused as if carefully choosing her words. I know, I continued for her. Back then, I was a good-for-nothing who only knew how to eat, drink, and have fun. I couldn't protect you, nor could I protect the Vance family. I might even drag the Lynn family down with me, right? Serena's body stiffened almost imperceptibly. She didn't deny it. That was the answer. She thought I was a good-for-nothing, so to protect this good-for-nothing, she chose to shoulder everything alone, pushing me away by breaking up. I suddenly found it a bit amusing. So for the past 3 years, everyone in our circle laughed at the original owner as a dumped simp, while this ice queen was actually putting on a tragic act of sacrificing for love. Information gap. Damn information gap. Where is that person now? I asked. Serena's tone was somewhat complex. Half a year ago, his company went bankrupt overnight, and he disappeared. No one knows who did it. I raised an eyebrow. Half a year ago, I seem to recall. Back then I had just transmigrated not long ago. One night, I wanted to eat at that famous private kitchen in the west of the city, but was told the restaurant had been booked out for a whole month. I was very annoyed at the time, thinking that person was too noisy and ruined my mood for enjoying good food. So I made a call to my all-purpose butler, Sebastian. I remember I said this at the time. Sebastian, there's a noisy Mr. Wang in the west of the city. Make him quiet down. Then there was no more. The next day, Sebastian told me that from then on, I could go to that restaurant whenever I wanted. I didn't think much of it at the time, assuming Sebastian had just warned the other party. Now it seems, Sebastian's understanding of quiet down might have been a bit too profound. So, after all this, it turns out I personally solved Serena's trouble, and then got captured by her brother and forced to reconcile with her. This world is really a damn closed loop. So, I looked at Serena, sorted out my thoughts. The thread is gone. You just want to pick up this useless trash again. My tone carried a hint of sarcasm. Serena's face paled. She tightened her grip on the documents in her hand, her knuckles turning white from the force. I didn't mean it that way, she said softly. I just want to make it up to you. Make it up? I laugh. Sign an agreement, pretend to get back together, then put on a show of affection in public to ease your guilt over these 3 years, and by the way, reassure your foolish brother. Serena was left speechless by my words, her lips pressed into a tight line. Clearly I guessed right. Serena, I took a step forward, leaned in slightly and lowered my voice. Do you think I, Lin Jia, am still the same person from 3 years ago who would agree to anything? We were very close enough for me to smell her cool perfume and see her slightly trembling eyelashes. She is indeed beautiful, aggressively so, the kind of beauty that captivates at first glance. Her skin glows with a pale radiance, and her features are as exquisite as a work of art. Unfortunately, no matter how beautiful the art, if it means trouble, I don't want to get involved. My closeness made her uncomfortable. She instinctively took a step back, creating distance. You can take a look at the agreement first. She placed the document on the coffee table, returning to her icy demeanor. It's not bad for you. I glanced at it. Reconciliation contract, Party A, Serena, Party Z, Liam, Lin Xing. The content of the contract roughly states that both parties voluntarily resume their romantic relationship for a period of 1 year. During this time, Party A must unconditionally meet all reasonable demands of Party Z in life and entertainment. Party Z has the right to use all black cards, real estate, and vehicles under Party A's name. During the contract period, commercial troubles. After 1 year, the contract automatically terminates, and Party A must pay Party Z a compensation for emotional damages amounting to up to 9 figures. I looked at it, my eyes twitching. This isn't a reconciliation contract. This is a damn sugar daddy agreement, and it's the kind where you're paying to be kept. What does Serena take me for? A duck that can be bought off with money? Although the conditions are indeed tempting, for someone determined to lie flat, this is like a pie falling from the sky. But I, Liam, also have my dignity. I need to think it over carefully. How about it? Serena asked, seeing me remain silent for a long time. Not great. I pushed the contract back. I'm not interested in your money. Just kidding. I have so much money of my own I don't even know how to spend it. Why would I need hers? Serena's eyes dimmed. What would it take for you to agree? I don't want anything. I interrupted her. Serena, we ended a long time ago. You take your broad road, I'll cross my single plank bridge. Let bygones be bygones. Now, tell your brother to open the door. My stance is firm. Serena looked at me, her eyes slowly reddening. That seemingly unshakable iceberg showed the faintest sign of thawing. Liam, her voice tinged with a plea, please, I'm begging you, just 1 year, okay? Why must it be this way? I was puzzled. She took a deep breath, as if steeling herself for a decision. Because my grandfather, he knows why we broke up, and he knows that person has fallen. He gave me 1 year. If I can't win you back, I have to accept the arranged marriage the family has planned. I was stunned. There's more to this? What does it have to do with you? Serena smiled self-deprecatingly. The Vance family needs a powerful alliance through marriage to secure its position. Before, with that person's threat looming, grandfather could turn a blind eye. Now that the threat is gone, my only remaining value is this. I looked at her, this seemingly invincible, authoritative ice queen in others' eyes, now appearing like a puppet bound by family fate. She was too proud to beg me outright. Instead, she could only use this contract, this compensation, to try to buy 1 year of my time. The living room fell into a long silence. Chase was still persistently knocking on the door. Sis, how's the talk going? Sis, don't be impulsive. Please don't resort to violence. I sighed. What a hassle, a big hassle, bringing along a little hassle. I glanced at the agreement on the coffee table, then looked at the woman in front of me, her eyes red but still stubbornly straightening her back. Consider it a daily act of kindness, saving a misguided woman. Besides, if I don't agree, with Chase's foolish nature, he might actually do something stupid. And with Serena's obsessive personality, if an arranged marriage really happens, who knows what might become of it. My lying flat lifestyle fears nothing more than these tangled, messy accidents. Better a short pain than a long one. Cut the knot quickly. I'll sign the agreement. I picked up the pen and signed my name with a flourish in the position of Party B. Serena's body jolted violently, looking at me in disbelief. I tossed the agreement back to her and said calmly, but the content needs to be changed. I picked up a pen, crossed out the clauses about monetary compensation on the agreement, then added a line at the end, supplementary clause. During the agreement period, Party A shall not interfere with Party B's lying flat endeavor for any reason. After writing, I threw the pen aside. Just like that, after a year, we'll be even. Serena stared at the line on the agreement for a long time, then looked up at me. In those beautiful eyes, there was something called light for the first time. Okay, she said softly. Chapter 3. Agreement reached. Chase was finally let in. He looked at the two of us, then at the agreement on the coffee table, his face full of disbelief. It's done? He leaned close to me and whispered, Brother Lin, you weren't wronged, were you? My sister didn't force you, did she? I rolled my eyes at him. Serena gave him a cold glance. You can get lost now. Got it. Chase felt as if pardoned and scurried away. Before leaving, he didn't forget to wink at me and mouth the words, go for it. The living room was left with just Serena and me again, and the atmosphere became awkward once more. Well, I cleared my throat. Since this is a contractual relationship, there are some things we need to clarify first. Serena sat up straight, adopting a posture of attentive listening. First, publicly we are a couple, but privately, we don't interfere with each other. You can't dictate when I wake up, what I eat or drink, and especially not whether I play games or watch movies. Second, you can't come to my place without my permission. If there's something, call me, that's fine. She paused for a moment, then nodded. Third, and most importantly, I looked at her seriously. Don't try to change me. I'm a loser, and I'm happy with it. Don't expect me to become the kind of career elite you want. Serena fell silent. She looked at me quietly, her gaze deep, like an ancient well. After a long while, she nodded gently. I promise you. But all the necessary rules are set. If there's nothing else, I'll be going now. I stood up, ready to leave. Wait, Serena called out to me. When out, I turned back impatiently. According to the agreement, we need to fulfill some couple obligations. She took out her phone and opened a memo. For example, we must have at least one meal together and watch one movie per week. Also, to deal with my grandfather, you might need to move in with me. I refuse, I say resolutely. What a joke, living with an iceberg. My heating bill would be higher than anyone else's. Just living in the same villa. Serena seemed to anticipate my reaction and calmly explained, this villa is very large, divided into the main building and the annex. You can stay in the annex. We won't run into each other. But to the outside world, you need to act as if we're living together. She paused and added, the annex has its own butler, kitchen, and entertainment facilities. It won't disturb you at all. I looked at her suspiciously. It sounds not bad, bigger than my penthouse, more freedom to move around, and most importantly, someone to serve me. My lying flat career seems to be able to reach new heights. I can consider it, I relented. Serena seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. One more thing, she said, there's a charity banquet tomorrow night. My grandfather will also be there. I hope you can accompany me as my male companion. This must be her real purpose, putting on the first act in front of the old man. Got it? I waved my hand. Send the address and time to my phone. Don't prepare any clothes for me. I have my own. I don't want to wear her expensive but questionable taste, elite suit. After saying that, I left the Vance family villa without looking back and returned to my apartment. I slumped into the soft sofa and let out a long sigh. Troublesome, so troublesome. For a year of peace, I actually signed such a binding contract. I picked up my phone, intending to call Sebastian and have him pack my daily essentials and send them to the Vance family annex. As soon as I unlocked the screen, I saw a push notification. Shocking. Starlight Enterprises CEO Serena Vance, suspected of rekindling old flames with her ex-fiancé Liam Vance, heir to Vance Industries. The two were photographed together in a room for several hours. Below was a blurry paparazzi photo, showing me driving into the Vance family villa. These paparazzi are way too efficient. I clicked on the comments section below the news, and as expected, it was all negativity. Hilarious. That loser Liam still wants to get back together? Does Queen Serena even look at him? Don't talk nonsense upstairs. Maybe Serena got tired of elites and wants to switch things up. Experience what it's like to keep a useless pretty boy. What does Liam have besides his face and family money? Is he worthy of my Serena? Waiting for the breakup. I bet it won't last a month. I couldn't help but laugh. Go ahead and criticize. The harsher the better. The more you think I'm useless, the more stable my lying flat life will be. I turned off the news and dialed Sebastian's number. Sebastian, do me a favor. At your command, young master. On the other end of the line, Sebastian's voice was always steady and respectful. Help me check if there's a company called Starlight Enterprises whose stock has been a bit too stable lately. Sebastian paused, clearly not following my train of thought. What do you mean, young master? Nothing much, I just think their company news is too noisy, a bit annoying. Handle it as you see fit. Yes, young master. Understood. Sebastian's efficiency was always astonishing. Less than 10 minutes after hanging up, my phone vibrated with a financial alert. Breaking news. Starlight Enterprises targeted by unknown institution for short selling. Stock price plummeted over 30% within 10 minutes of market opening. I raised an eyebrow. Sebastian's understanding of the word handle seemed quite profound too. But wait, Starlight Enterprises. Why does that name sound so familiar? I sat up abruptly. Damn it. Starlight Enterprises, isn't that Serena's company? Chapter 4. I stared at the news on my phone, falling into a long silence. What the hell did I just do? The company I asked Sebastian to mess with turned out to be my contractual girlfriend's company. What's this called? A flood washing over the Dragon King's temple. Our reconciliation contract, signed less than 3 hours ago, is on the verge of collapse because of one sentence from me. My phone vibrated frantically. It was Serena. My scalp tingled. And after hesitating for a long time, I still answered. Hello, Liam. The voice on the other end was no longer cool but filled with urgency and a hint of suppressed anger. Where you now? I answered guiltily. Did you do something? She questioned. What did I do? I've been lying flat at home all along. I started acting. Yes, I know nothing. I'm just an innocent, lying flat waste. There was silence on the other end of the phone. After a while, Serena's voice sounded again, but her tone had changed. carrying a deep weariness and a hint of guilt. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you," she said. "This matter has nothing to do with you. It's a problem on my company's side. You, don't worry about it. I'll handle it." I was stunned. She actually apologized to me? Doesn't she think it's me, this jinx, who brought her bad luck? I responded dryly. "Then, you, do your best." Serena's voice sounded like a bitter laugh. "Don't worry, tomorrow's dinner won't be cancelled. Even if the company goes bankrupt, I'll be there on time." After saying that, she hung up. Listening to the busy tone on the phone, I was a bit stunned. Is this woman's way of thinking a bit off? I've almost ruined the company, and she's still thinking about our agreement. I scratched my head, feeling like things were getting a bit out of my control. My original intention was to shut up those media outlets that were writing nonsense. Who knew Sebastian would be so ruthless, solving the problem right at the root? He took down the company that was the subject of the news. Now, Serena is in a mess over there, and I won't have any peace either. I paced around the room irritably for a couple of rounds. No, I can't let Starlight Enterprises collapse like this. It's not because I feel sorry for Serena. Mainly, if her company goes bankrupt, she'll definitely pour all her energy into rebuilding it. Then, when would she have time to deal with me? Her obsessive grandfather would surely force her into an arranged marriage. Once she's married, that fool Chase would definitely come bother me again. My lying flat plan would still be seriously disrupted. So, for the sake of my peaceful lying flat, I must save Starlight Enterprises. Thinking of this, I dialed Sebastian's number again. "Sebastian, what do you need?" "About that Starlight Enterprises." I cleared my throat awkwardly. "You can stop for now." Sebastian on the other end was clearly taken aback. "Young master, but the short selling plan has already been initiated. Stopping now would cause us significant losses." "Losses are losses," I said indifferently. "Besides, do me another favor. Young master, please go ahead. Use some unconventional methods to push Starlight's stock price back up. Not just back up, but higher than before. Keep it clean. Don't let anyone trace it back to us." Sebastian was silent for even longer this time. I could almost picture him frowning deeply on the other end, looking utterly bewildered. "Young master," Sebastian's tone grew extremely serious. "I understand. You want to suppress first, then elevate, to shake the mountain and startle the tiger, letting Miss Lu witness the Lin family's strength, while also giving her an enormous favor, making her utterly devoted to you." No, I'm not. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. I just want to lie flat quietly." "Young master, your move is truly brilliant." Sebastian's voice was full of admiration, seemingly capricious, yet hiding a deadly trap, step by step, first suppressing her, pushing her into a desperate situation, then stepping in to save her, making her feel like a spring breeze. This extreme push and pull is enough to shatter any woman's psychological defenses. I am utterly impressed. I opened my mouth, unable to utter a single word. "You all, these overachievers, have your imagination skills maxed out. All right, I waved my hand weakly, even though he couldn't see it. "Just do as I said, hurry up." "Yes, guaranteed to complete the task." Absolutely not letting down young master's well-intentioned efforts. Hanging up the phone, I felt so mentally exhausted. Communicating with these people is more tiring than doing 10 sets of math papers. I collapsed on the sofa, opened the financial software, silently lit a candle for Serena, hoping she can hold on. On the other side, in the CEO's office of Starlight Enterprises, the atmosphere was so tense it felt like it could drip water. Serena stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling window, her face as calm as water. In front of her stood a row of the company's pillars, each face filled with despair. "Did you find out who's behind this?" Serena's voice was as cold as ice. A man in gold-rimmed glasses, the company's CFO, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and stammered. "And no, we couldn't. The other party's funding sources are spread across hundreds of offshore accounts worldwide. Their methods are clean and sharp, like a ghost. All our firewalls are useless against them. What about our market support funds? How much longer can they hold? They can't hold any longer. The other side's firepower is too fierce. The money we invested is like a stone sinking into the sea, not even a ripple to be seen. In 10 minutes, no, 5 minutes, we'll be liquidated." The office fell into a dead silence. Everyone knew what liquidation meant. It meant that Starlight Enterprises, the heart and soul Serena had built with her own hands, would vanish completely from the business landscape today. Serena closed her eyes. She couldn't understand who she had offended to warrant such a thunderous strike, pushing her to the brink of death. Was it the remnants of that person from the past, or a new business rival? Countless faces flashed through her mind, but not once did Liam's lazy face appear. In her heart, although Liam was useless, he was definitely not the kind of person who would use such methods. He might not even know what short selling means. She even felt guilty for having doubted him earlier. "Serena," the CFO's voice was choked with tears. We should file for bankruptcy. Serena suddenly opened her eyes, her beautiful pupils burning with an unyielding flame. It's not the final moment yet. She picked up her phone and scrolled to a number she thought she would never dial again. It was her grandfather's personal assistant. She could lose, but she couldn't just lose everything without understanding why. Even if she had to beg, she would beg for a glimmer of hope for Starlight, for the employees who had followed her all these years. However, just as her finger was about to press the dial button, "It's rising, congratulations." Everyone's gaze instantly converged on the giant electronic screen. The green line, which had been limit down and lifeless, seemed to be infused with divine power, suddenly pulling up at an unbelievable angle. A massive red bullish candlestick surged from the ground. What's going on? The CFO was so shocked that his glasses nearly fell off. I don't know. Suddenly, countless huge buy orders flooded in. Crazy? Are they insane? Oh my god, it's still rising, already recovered half of the losses, it's all back. Not only is it back, but it has also broken through today's pre-market high. Limit up, our stock limit up. In the office, first there was deathly silence, then an ear-splitting cheer erupted. Everyone hugged each other, crying and laughing, as if celebrating a narrow escape. Only Serena stood quietly in place, staring at that bright red limit up line, completely stunned. She didn't understand what on earth was happening. Hell and heaven in just an instant. Who exactly possesses such immense power to reverse the situation in just a few minutes? She picked up her phone, looked at the contact list, at the name Liam, and fell into deep thought. Could it be? No, impossible. She immediately dismissed this absurd idea. He's just a loser. It must be a coincidence, or some business tycoon saw Star Glory's potential and stepped in to help. Yes, that must be it. Serena took a deep breath, trying to calm herself down, but for some reason, Liam's face, always with a hint of mockery and laziness, lingered in her mind, refusing to fade away. Chapter 5. The charity gala on the second day was held at the city's most luxurious hotel. When I arrived, the entrance was already filled with various luxury cars. I got out of my modest car, dressed in casual clothes, completely out of place among the people in suits and evening gowns. The doorman didn't even bother to give me a proper glance. If I hadn't taken out the invitation, I would have been. I shrugged indifferently and walked into the banquet hall. As soon as I entered, I became the center of attention. Countless gazes shot toward me, filled with contempt, mockery, and a sense of watching a spectacle. Isn't that the good-for-nothing from the Lin family? How did he get here, dressed like that for a gala? What a disgrace. I heard he's clinging to Serena again. I wonder what Serena sees in him. Just that face. I ignored them and walked to the buffet table, starting to devour the food. This Boston lobster is good, very fresh. This caviar is decent, but the toast it comes with is a bit over-toasted. This French escargot, the cooking is a bit off. As I ate, I silently critiqued in my mind. For me, the only significance of this dinner was to provide free, fairly tasty food. Just as I was focused on tackling a medium-rare Wellington steak, a cold voice sounded behind me. "You're here." I turned around to see Serena standing behind me. Today, she wore a black strapless gown that revealed her beautiful collarbones and swan-like neck. Her long hair was tied up, and she wore exquisite makeup. She looked like a rose blooming in the night, noble and coldly enchanting. Her appearance instantly drew the attention of everyone in the room. Chewing on the steak, I mumbled a response. "That dress looks good on you, quite slimming." Serena's lips twitched slightly. "Can't you change your clothes?" she whispered, a hint of helplessness in her tone. "Why should I change? I think this outfit is quite comfortable," I said, pointing to my t-shirt and jeans. Serena took a deep breath, seemingly trying hard to control her temper. "Forget it." She gave up arguing with me. "Come with me. My grandfather is over there." I wiped my mouth with a napkin and followed her through the crowd. Along the way, I could feel countless jealous gazes almost burning through my back. In an inconspicuous corner, I met Serena's grandfather, Mr. Vance Sr., a spirited, white-haired old man. When he saw me, a glint of sharpness flashed in his cloudy eyes. "So you're the Lin family boy." He sized me up from head to toe, his tone unfriendly. "Nice to meet you, sir," I nodded politely. Mr. Vance Sr. snorted coldly. "I heard you and my Serena are back together." "Yes, Grandpa." Before I could speak, Serena answered first, even taking the chance to hook her arm through mine. Her arm was cold. Even through my t-shirt, I could feel that chill. My body stiffened, a bit unaccustomed to such intimate contact. "Back together?" Mr. Vance Sr. clearly didn't believe it. "I doubt that's the case. Lin boy, let me tell you, the daughters of the Vance family aren't for playboys like you to toy with. If you dare treat Serena poorly, I'll be the first to not let you off, The old man's voice wasn't loud, but it was full of vigor, carrying the authority of someone long in a position of power. Before I could speak, Serena frowned. What are you talking about? Liam treats me very well. How is he good? Mr. Vance Sr. bristled with anger. Look at his careless attitude. What about him is worthy of you? When Star Glory had such a big incident yesterday, where was he? Did he help you? Serena's face paled, and she was left speechless. Yesterday's incident had left her overwhelmed, and indeed, she had been lying at home the whole time. Although she didn't blame him, in front of her grandfather, this became an undeniable flaw she couldn't argue against. Seeing Serena rendered speechless, I sighed inwardly. Trouble. I really dislike this kind of family drama the most. Finally, I spoke up, my voice not loud but instantly silencing the surroundings. You're right, sir. When Star Glory had the incident yesterday, I really didn't do anything. Mr. Vance Sr. sneered. At least you have some self-awareness. But I shifted the tone. Looking at Serena, a playful smile curling at the corner of my mouth. What if I said that the reason Star Glory was able to come back to life was also because I did nothing? As soon as these words were spoken, the room erupted in an uproar. Serena suddenly looked up at me, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. Mr. Vance Sr. was also stunned, then angrily said, Kid, what nonsense are you talking? Who do you think you are, the stock god? I'm not the stock god, I shrugged and said lazily. I'm just lucky. I took out my phone and opened an email I received last night. Handing it to Mr. Vance Sr. It was an investment letter of intent from Goldman Sachs, one of the world's largest investment banks. The email content was simple. Goldman Sachs Group is optimistic about the future development of Starlight Enterprises and has decided to make a strategic investment, with an initial capital injection of $10 billion. They will also help Starlight Enterprises expand into overseas markets in the future. At the end of the email, there was a handwritten note. Dear Mr. Liam, this is a small gift we prepared for you. We hope you like it and look forward to cooperating with you. The signature was from the CEO of Goldman Sachs Asia Pacific, personally signed. Mr. Vance Sr. stared at the email, his eyes widening more and more, his breathing becoming rapid. Having spent a lifetime in the business world, how could he not recognize the CEO's signature from Goldman Sachs? And how could he not know what this investment letter of intent meant? This means that Starlight Enterprises will not only avoid collapse but will soar to become a true international giant. And all of this was actually brought about by this waste he had always looked down upon right before his eyes. This can't be, Mr. Vance Sr. muttered to himself, his hands starting to tremble. There's nothing impossible. I took back my phone and said calmly. I said I just got lucky. A few days ago, I happened to meet a few friends from Goldman Sachs and mentioned my girlfriend's company to them. I didn't expect them to actually take it seriously. I said it lightly as if talking about an insignificant little matter, but to Serena and Mr. Vance Sr., it was no less than a thunderclap. Knowing friends at Goldman Sachs and just mentioning it once could bring in $10 billion in investment. This is called good luck? This is called having immense influence. Serena stared at me blankly. Her usually calm and composed mind was now completely unable to think. She had always thought that yesterday's earth-shattering reversal was the work of some unknown business tycoon. She never imagined that the tycoon was actually the man she had tried to protect by her side. No, not by her side, but the man she had attempted to keep with a written agreement. At this moment, she felt her face burning with shame. It turned out that the one who needed protection was never him, but her own presumptuous self. Chapter 6. After leaving Mr. Vance Sr., Serena remained in a state of distraction. She held onto my arm, her grip unconsciously tightening, as if afraid I would vanish the next second. You? She started several times but didn't know what to say. Wanting to ask about Goldman Sachs, I spoke for her. She nodded. Nothing much to ask, I casually made up. Just met while traveling abroad recently, at a bar. We had a few drinks, hit it off, and exchanged contacts. That's all. Serena's tone was full of disbelief. Otherwise, I retorted, how complicated did you think it was? Serena fell silent, just looking at me with an extremely complex expression. There was shock, confusion, curiosity, and even a hint of admiration. I felt a bit uncomfortable under her gaze. All right, stop looking at me like that. I withdrew my arm. I'm just a lucky loser, nothing more. Don't forget our agreement. My words were like a bucket of cold water, extinguishing the small flame that had just ignited in her eyes. She lowered her gaze and whispered softly, I haven't forgotten, I haven't forgotten. The atmosphere became awkward once again. Just then, an untimely voice chimed in. Well, if it isn't Serena, and who is this? A slick-haired, powdered man holding a wine glass walked over, his gaze shamelessly sizing me up, filled with contempt. If I remember correctly, this should be the eldest son of the Lin family, the one Serena dumped 3 years ago. The man, named Kyle, was a nouveau riche who had risen through family connections. He had always been interested in Serena, had been rejected several times, and held a grudge. In the original story, he was also a minor antagonist, later easily dealt with by the protagonist. Serena's face instantly turned cold. "Kyle, watch your mouth. Don't be angry, Serena," Kyle said with a lecherous smile. "I'm just curious, you have such an excellent suitor like me, yet you choose to hang out with this loser. Could it be that life has been too smooth these past few years, and you want to experience the feeling of dragging around deadweight?" His few lackeys joined in with mocking laughter. "Kyle's right, Serena. What use is this pretty boy besides his looks? Can he help you negotiate deals? Can he help you make money? Exactly, if you're just having fun that's fine, but bringing him to an occasion like this, isn't that just lowering your own standards?" I stood to the side, expressionless as I watched these clowns, with only one thought in my mind. So noisy, so noisy. Serena was trembling with anger, about to explode, but I stopped her. I stepped forward, shielding her, and looked at Kyle, speaking lazily. "Are you done?" "What, the loser wants to step up?" Kyle looked at me disdainfully. "No," I shook my head. "I just wanted to confirm, are you really that eager to die?" My voice was very soft. But Kyle's smile froze on his face. In my eyes, he saw something he had never seen before. It wasn't anger, nor a threat, but a pure, lofty indifference, like a deity looking down at a noisy ant. What do you mean?" Kyle said with a fierce but weak tone. "Nothing much." I dug my ear, turned to Serena and said, "It's too noisy here, let's go somewhere else." Serena nodded blankly, letting me pull her wrist as we walked out of the banquet hall. Behind us, Kyle watched our backs, his face turning pale and then flushed. "Damn, a useless guy, daring to act tough in front of me." "Just wait," he said viciously. Serena and I came to the rooftop open-air garden of the hotel, the evening breeze bringing a hint of coolness. "Thank you," Serena whispered. "For what?" "Just now, for helping me out." "Oh," I said indifferently, "I wasn't helping you, I just thought he was noisy." Serena, Liam, she hesitated for a moment, then asked, "What kind of person are you, really?" This question had been weighing on her all evening. From the shocking reversal of Xingyao's stock price, to Goldman Sachs' 10 billion investment, to the aura I displayed when facing Kyle just now, everything I've shown has completely overturned her perception of me over the past 3 years. That playboy who only knew how to eat, drink, and have fun, and was unambitious, seemed like nothing but a false illusion. The man before her now, lazy and sharp-tongued, yet seemingly capable of anything, was shrouded in an air of mystery. I smiled, leaning against the railing and gazing at the distant night view. "I'm just a waste who wants to lie flat." "I don't believe it," Serena shook her head. "Believe it or not," I shrugged. "Anyway, our agreement is only for a year. In this year, you continue being your icy female CEO, and I'll keep being my waist. We'll have nothing to do with each other." Hearing this, Serena's eyes dimmed once again. She was silent for a long time, so long that I thought she wouldn't speak again. Then, she suddenly took a step forward, stood on her tiptoes, and a cold, soft sensation landed on my lips. I froze completely, my mind blank. What is this? A forced kiss? Serena's kiss was clumsy, with a hint of trembling, like a fairy who had stumbled into the human world, cautiously testing something. But in just an instant, she pulled away. She took a step back, her cheeks flushed but still stubbornly looking at me. "Liam," she said word by word, "I won't give up. No matter what kind of person you are, within a year, I will make you willingly stay by my side." After saying that, she turned around, walked away in her high heels without looking back, leaving me alone, disheveled in the wind. I touched my lips, which seemed to still carry the faint, cool fragrance from her. Damn it, this woman must be crazy. We agreed on a contractual relationship, so why is she adding drama on her own? My lying flat plan seems to be veering further off track. Chapter 7. Since that night's rooftop kiss, Serena seemed like a different person. She was no longer that icy, cold iceberg. Although she remained that way to outsiders, when it came to me, that iceberg clearly showed signs of melting. She began clumsily learning how to be a girlfriend. For example, she would send me a message every morning asking, "Good morning," even though I always slept until noon and only replied with an "O." She would have the freshest ingredients delivered daily to the annex where I lived, though I never used them once, because I had Sebastian's top-tier chefs flown in. She even bought a bunch of supposedly couple-bonding, silly, game consoles and placed them in the living room, hoping I'd play with her, though they've been gathering dust ever since. What annoyed me the most was that she started frequently checking in. Of course, not the accusatory kind, but the "what are you doing" type. I had just finished a set of bench presses in the private gym, drenched in sweat, when I received her message. "Working out," I casually replied with 2 words. A minute later, The gym door was pushed open, and Serena appeared at the entrance, dressed in a sharp business suit and high heels. Seeing me shirtless, sweat trickling down the lines of my 8-pack abs, her eyes clearly glazed over for a moment, and her cheeks quickly flushed with a suspicious blush. "Why aren't you wearing clothes?" she stammered. I rolled my eyes. "I'm working out, not in a meeting. Why wear so much?" "Oh." Her gaze shifted, avoiding looking at me, yet her eyes couldn't help but drift toward my Adonis belt. I couldn't help but laugh. "Acting, keep acting. Something's up." I picked up a towel to wipe my sweat, deliberately showing off my perfect abdominal muscle lines in front of her. Sure enough, I heard her gasp sharply. "No, nothing's wrong." She forced herself to stay calm and said, "I was just passing by, and came to see you." "You've seen enough. Well, you can leave now. Don't disturb my workout." I started to show her the door, but Serena didn't move. She hesitated for a moment, walked up to me and reached out her hand. I watched her warily. "I'll help you wipe your sweat." Her voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. Before I could react, she had already taken the towel from my hand and started wiping my chest and abdomen haphazardly. Her movements were clumsy, and her touch was light, more like caressing than wiping sweat. Her fingertips inadvertently brushed against my abs, sending a cool sensation that instantly triggered a reaction in a certain part of my body. "Damn it," I cursed inwardly. "Is this woman doing this on purpose?" I grabbed her mischievous hand, my expression darkening. "Serena, are you playing with fire?" My voice was slightly hoarse. Serena was startled as I grabbed her wrist, looking up to meet my aggressive gaze. Her face flushed even redder, like a ripe apple. I didn't. I sneered, pulling her hand and guiding it to press against my well-defined abs. "Then tell me, what is this?" Her palm pressed against my burning skin, clearly feeling the firm muscles beneath. She froze completely, as if paralyzed, motionless. "Are you satisfied with what you're touching?" I leaned down and whispered in her ear. Warm breath brushed against her earlobe, turning her ears visibly pink. She stammered incoherently, her logical system completely disrupted. Seeing her flustered and embarrassed expression, I suddenly found it amusing. Teasing this ice queen seemed more interesting than lying flat. "Want to touch something else?" I continued to tempt her. Just then, my phone rang at an inopportune moment. It was Sebastian. Damn this call, coming at the worst time. I released Serena and walked aside to answer the phone. "Young master, the company you asked me to keep an eye on has made a move." "Which one?" "It's the one owned by Kyle's family, called K-Tech Holdings." "Oh, that slick-haired guy. What about him?" "He seems to be secretly teaming up with several companies, planning to target Starlight Enterprises' overseas business." Sebastian's tone was very calm, as if talking about a minor matter. I frowned. "This guy really doesn't know when to quit." "Got it," I said lightly. "Let him play. Tell me when he's invested all his assets." "Yes, young master." Hanging up the phone, I turned around. I found Serena still standing there in a daze, the blush on her face not yet faded. "Did you hear?" I asked. She nodded, her eyes showing some concern. Don't worry," I interrupted her. "Just a flea, can't stir up any waves." I was telling the truth, but to Serena, it sounded like I was comforting her. She looked at me, her eyes filled with emotion. "Liam," she said, "thank you. But regarding this matter, don't get involved. I can handle it myself." She still isn't used to relying on me, or rather, she still doesn't believe I can solve such business problems. In her eyes, I might seem a bit mysterious, with some background, but in terms of business acumen, I definitely can't compare to her professional expertise. I can't be bothered to explain to her. "Whatever," I shrugged, "just don't bother me." After saying that, I picked up my jacket and prepared to leave the gym. My lying flat endeavor was wasted for another 2 hours by this woman today. I need to go back and catch up on some sleep. Just as I reached the door, Serena suddenly called out to me, "Liam." I turned around and saw her quickly walking up to me. Then, under my astonished gaze, she stood on her tiptoes, wrapped her arms around my neck, and kissed me again. This kiss was no longer a mere taste. It carried a desperate, all-or-nothing determination. Chapter 8. Over the next few days, Serena indeed began to take action against Kyle. She threw herself entirely into her work, leaving early and returning late every day, even losing the time to send me a "good morning" text. This suited me perfectly. When she's busy, no one disturbs my lying flat. I wake up naturally every day, then have the chef prepare a lavish brunch. In the afternoon, I work out, swim, or watch an old movie in the private theater. In the evening, I delve into my winemaking venture. Life was so comfortable it felt unreal. That afternoon, I was lying on a rocking chair in the garden, savoring the newly brewed lychee wine, when Chase called again. "Brother Lin, save me." He started wailing right away. "What's wrong now?" I frowned. My sister can't hold on much longer. Chase was almost crying with anxiety. That bastard Zhao somehow gathered a pack of hungry wolves from Wall Street to fiercely snipe my sister's company in the overseas market. My sister hasn't slept a wink for 3 days and nights, and the company's stock price has plummeted beyond recognition. I swirled the wine glass, watching the crystal clear liquid inside, and asked calmly, "Oh really? How much has it fallen?" "Almost limit down, brother. Think of something quick. Don't you know people at Goldman Sachs? Ask them to help again." "Why should I help?" I retorted. Chase was stunned. "Isn't she your girlfriend?" "She's a contractual girlfriend," I corrected him. "Besides, she said she'd handle it herself and told me not to interfere." But she really can't hold on anymore," Chase said with a sob in his voice. "I secretly went to see her just now. She was alone in the office, her eyes all red, and the desk was covered with coffee cups. It broke my heart just looking at her." I fell silent, Serena's stubborn face flashing in my mind. That woman, she always insists on carrying everything on her own. "Bro Lin, I'm begging you," Chase pleaded on the other end. "I can't just stand by and watch my sister fall apart like this. If you don't step in, I'll jump off the roof of my building." "That trick again," I sighed. "Got it." After hanging up, I downed the rest of the lychee wine in my glass. The wine was good, but my mood was ruined. I took out another phone. This one had only one contact, Sebastian. I sent a message. Kyle sighed. "It's time to close the net." Almost instantly after sending the message, I received a reply, "Yes." I put down the phone, lay back in the rocking chair, and closed my eyes. Annoying. Why are there always so many clueless people disturbing my lying flat life? Starlight Enterprises, Overseas Division. The atmosphere was tense to the freezing point. Serena stood before a massive electronic screen, staring at the green K-line chart, her face pale as paper. Behind her stood an elite team, their faces equally ashen. "We've lost," a blonde, blue-eyed trader dejectedly put down his mouse. "The opponent's funds were like an endless ocean. All our resistance was in vain." 3 days, 3 full days and nights without sleep, they exhausted every possible strategy, mobilized all available resources, but in the end, they still suffered a crushing defeat. The one Kyle hired this time was the fiercest vulture from Wall Street. They were precise, vicious, and every move was deadly. The overseas market that Starlight Enterprises had painstakingly built over the years was completely devoured by them in these 3 days. "Serena," the assistant stepped forward, his voice strained. "Kyle has sent a takeover offer." He handed over a document. The acquisition price on it was nothing short of an insult. He not only wants to win but also to trample Serena's dignity underfoot. Serena looked at the document, her body swaying, almost unable to stand steady. She had lost, utterly defeated. She thought she could do it. She thought she could protect the company and also protect that person. She didn't want him to take risks for her again, didn't want to owe him any more favors. But reality had given her the loudest slap in the face. Just as she was about to sink into the abyss of despair, the office door was suddenly pushed open. Lu Dai, look, an employee responsible for monitoring information rushed in, stumbling and crawling, holding a tablet in hand, his face filled with ecstasy and disbelief. Something huge has happened, something huge on Wall Street. Everyone's attention was drawn to it, and on the tablet screen, between and the words, breaking news, Wall Street has encountered an epic-level crash. Over 30 top investment banks and funds, suspected of multiple charges including malicious market manipulation and insider trading. Originally, all relevant personnel have been taken into custody, and all assets have been frozen. In the news footage, countless financial elites in suits and ties were handcuffed and escorted out of skyscrapers, their faces filled with fear and confusion. One of them, captured in a close-up shot, was none other than the leader of this attack on Xingyao. The famous Wall Street vulture, George Sorin. And below the news, a line of small text scrolled by. It is reported that the clues for this operation came from a mysterious whistleblower. The whistleblower provided regulators with thousands of pages of irrefutable evidence, meticulously documenting all illegal activities these institutions had engaged in over the past decade. In the office, a deathly silence fell. Everyone stared at the news in stunned disbelief, their minds unable to comprehend what was happening. One moment, they were the ravenous wolves about to devour Xingyao. The next, they had become prisoners. What on earth is going on? Serena was also stunned. She looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar faces in the news and at the evidence spanning thousands of pages. An utterly absurd thought uncontrollably surfaced from the depths of her heart. She abruptly turned around, rushed out of the office, dashed to the elevator, and sped toward the parking lot. She didn't even have time to change out of her high heels before stepping on the accelerator and racing toward that home she knew so well yet felt so distant from. She had to see him. She needed to see that man right now, immediately, without delay. Chapter 9. I was in the garden, dusting off my precious wine jars. These were old jars I had Sebastian collect from all over the country, perfect for brewing wine with a unique flavor. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps broke the tranquility of the garden. Without even looking up, I knew who had arrived. Liam. Serena rushed to me, her chest heaving violently, her forehead covered in fine beads of sweat, clearly having run all the way here. She looked at me, her usually cool eyes now filled with excitement, shock, confusion, and a kind of burning light I had never seen before. "It was you, wasn't it?" she asked, her voice trembling. "What happened on Wall Street? You did it, didn't you?" I put down the rag in my hand, looked up, and lazily gazed at her. "What if it wasn't?" "You admit it," she said, as if receiving some kind of confirmation, trembling with excitement. "I knew it was you. No one else could have done it but you." "Oh," I responded indifferently and continued wiping my jar. My reaction clearly left her at a loss. She had imagined countless scenarios of our confrontation. She thought I would deny it, evade, or dismiss it as luck, like last time, but she never expected me to admit it so straightforwardly and so calmly. As if bringing down half of Wall Street was, to me, as trivial a matter as wiping a wine jar. "Why," she stepped forward, grabbing my wrist, "why did you do this?" "Are you annoying?" I frowned, shaking off her hand. "I already said, I just think they're noisy. Serena was stunned. "Right," I said matter-of-factly, "they kept you awake for 3 days and 3 nights. When you don't sleep, your silly brother comes to bother me. When he bothers me, I can't lie flat properly, so, ultimately, it's because they're too noisy." This logic flawless. After hearing my words, Serena was completely stunned at heart. She stood there, looking at me for a very, very long time. Then she smiled. That was my first time seeing her truly smile, not that commercial, polite smile, nor that self-deprecating, bitter smile, but a genuine, brilliant, warm smile like sunlight. The iceberg melted completely at that moment. She laughed and laughed, tears streaming down. She cried and laughed at the same time, like a fool. I was a bit baffled by her. "What's wrong with you again? Gone mad?" She didn't answer me. She just stepped forward and hugged me tightly, burying her head in my chest, her scalding tears soaking through my t-shirt. "Liam," she choked out. "You jerk." "How am I a jerk? Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Her voice was choked with sobs. "Why did you let me act like a fool, thinking I could protect you?" "I let you protect me?" I rolled my eyes. "You're the one making a scene." She was taken aback. Her crying stopped. She looked up at me with tear-filled eyes. Then she fiercely bit my lip. I gasped, "Are you a dog?" She ignored me, instead staring at me intently with those reddened eyes. "Liam," she said word by word, with utmost clarity, "our agreement from now on is void." "What do you mean?" My heart skipped a beat. This woman, she's not trying to back out, is she? "It means," she curled her lips into a sly, never-before-seen smile. "From today on, I'm going to pursue you. I am not a contractual girlfriend, nor am I pretending to reconcile." She stood on tiptoe, leaned close to my ear, and whispered in a vow-like tone, "I want you, Liam, to become my, Serena's, true and only man. I want you to willingly fall in love with me." After saying this, she kissed me again. This time, it was no longer a test, nor a declaration of war, but filled with possession and plunder. I felt that my lying flat, grand plan had completely collapsed at this moment. Chapter 10. Serena really started pursuing me, and it was the kind of passionate pursuit. The kind that lets the whole world know. The first thing she did was hold a globally live-streamed press conference. The theme of the press conference was to clarify the recent turmoil at Starlight Enterprises and announce future development plans. I had no interest in this at all, but Chase dragged me out of bed and forced me into the front row, right in the center of the press conference venue. "Bro Liam, this is my sister's show. You have to come and hold the fort." He looked excited while I yawned, watching the radiant woman on stage. Serena was wearing a red suit today, bright and captivating, with her aura in full display. She succinctly explained that the turmoil in the overseas market had subsided and announced a deep strategic partnership with Goldman Sachs, while reporters below frantically clicked their shutters. During the Q&A session, an insensitive reporter suddenly asked, "Serena, rumors are circulating that you and Mr. Liam of Vance Industries have reconciled. Is this true? And what are your thoughts on Mr. Liam's title as the top good-for-nothing in the capital?" As soon as the question was asked, the entire room fell silent, and everyone's gaze instantly shifted to me. I couldn't even be bothered to lift my eyelids, thinking about which restaurant to visit after the press conference. Chase beside me was so angry his face turned red. If I hadn't held him back, he probably would have rushed up to confront the reporter. On stage, Serena, upon hearing the question, didn't get angry but instead smiled. She looked at the reporter, then turned her gaze to me, her beautiful eyes filled with tenderness and affection. "First, let me correct you on one point." Serena picked up the microphone, her voice clear and audible throughout the room. "Liam and I are not reconciling." The audience erupted in murmurs. "Not reconciling? Could the rumors be false?" "Because," Serena paused, then said word by word, "I am the one pursuing him." Boom. The entire venue felt as if a bomb had been dropped. Everyone went wild. The Ice Queen Serena Liu personally admitted that she was the one pursuing the so-called #1 useless man in the capital. What a shocking bombshell. The reporters were practically wearing out their camera shutters. And Serena Liu continued to drop more bombshells. "As for that title you mentioned," she glanced coldly at the reporter who asked the question, "in my eyes, it's utterly laughable. In this world, some people are born at the summit. He just doesn't bother to look at the scenery, but that doesn't mean he lacks the ability to see all others as beneath him. He is the smartest, strongest, and gentlest man I have ever met. He is my light, my hero, the only man I, Serena Liu, will ever acknowledge in this lifetime. If anyone dares to call him by that ridiculous title again," Serena Liu's gaze instantly turned sharp, "they will be making an enemy of me, Serena Liu, and of the entire Starlight Enterprises." After saying this, she put down the microphone. Amidst the deathly silence of the entire venue and under the glare of countless camera flashes, she walked off the stage and came straight to me. Under the disbelieving gazes of everyone, she bent down, cupped my face, and kissed me deeply. At that moment, the entire world seemed to become nothing more than a backdrop for the two of us. I could hear the gasps and faint screams from the surroundings, and there was Chase beside me, exclaiming, holy crap," in amazement. As for me, looking at the woman before me who stood against the whole world for my sake, the high wall I had built in my heart for lying flat seemed to have cracked open a seam. Chapter 11. After the press conference for that century kiss ended, I became an overnight sensation. Serena pursuing Liam too lazy to look at the scenery, the #1 good-for-nothing in the capital is actually a hidden big shot. Various topics dominated the trending charts on all social media platforms. My identity was thoroughly dug up by netizens, but aside from being the sole heir of Vance Industries, nothing else could be uncovered. My life resume was as clean as a blank sheet of paper, with only 4 big words written on it: eat, drink, and be merry. Thus, a new trending topic was born: the strongest lying flat enthusiast in history, Liam. There was even an even more outrageous one. Liam still hasn't gotten out of bed today. The initiator of this topic was the official Weibo account of Starlight Enterprises. It all started one day when Starlight Enterprises' stock price hit the limit up without warning. Countless investors and financial journalists frantically analyzed the reasons. Finally, Starlight's official blog leisurely posted a Weibo message: "Stop guessing, there's no major positive news. It's just that our boss's wife is in a good mood today because she finally managed to get our boss out of bed before noon." Liam didn't fail to get up today. As soon as this Weibo post went out, everyone went crazy. Just because the boss got up, the company's stock price hit the limit up. What kind of magical company is this? From that day on, Liam didn't get up today became a mystical indicator. As long as I didn't get up, Starlight's stock price would soar. As for if I got up, sorry, I've hardly ever gotten up before the afternoon. My lying flat actually became the company's biggest positive news. I had nothing to say about this, and my life, because of Serena's pursuit, became chaotic. She was no longer satisfied with living in the annex next door to me but moved directly into my main building, claiming it was to conveniently take care of your daily needs. So, every morning she would wake me up in various ways. Sometimes it was the aroma of gourmet food. She hired the world's top chef team to prepare breakfasts from 8 major cuisines, changing styles daily. Other times, it was her personally, wearing a sexy silk nightgown, leaning by my bedside, gently tracing my abs with her fingers. I admit, this kind of sweet trouble is truly hard to resist. But my lying flat ambition has completely fallen apart. Not only do I have to deal with her endless pursuit tactics, but I also have to handle those hyper-competitive, overachieving subordinates. Since Serena was recognized by them as the future mistress, they've been frantically trying to impress her. One day, someone gifts a small island. The next day, another acquires a diamond mine. Sebastian took it to another level by directly buying the world's largest luxury group and gifting it to Serena. She was left both amused and exasperated by their antics, and could only transfer all these assets to my name. Every day I lie around, my assets grow at a terrifying rate. I feel like I'm not just lying flat, I'm lying and winning. This feeling is both exhilarating and exhausting. Chapter 12. That day, I got up unusually early because Serena said she was taking me somewhere. She blindfolded me and led me onto a private jet. Only after the plane landed did she remove the black cloth from my eyes. Before me stretched an endless sea of lavender, purple flowers swaying in the wind, the air filled with an intoxicating fragrance. At the far end of the lavender field stood a beautiful little white wooden cabin. This was Provence. Serena hugged me from behind, resting her chin on my shoulder. I bought this place. Why did you buy it? For you, silly, she said, kissing me on the cheek. I know you love peace and quiet, and you enjoy making your own wine. Here, there's the best sunlight, the best soil, and me. I gazed at the beautiful scenery before me, listening to her sweet words whispered in my ear. Somewhere deep inside, my heart softened completely. Serena, have you forgotten? Our agreement was only for 1 year. Her body stiffened. Now the year is almost up, I said. She fell silent. I turned around to look at her. So, I asked, looking into her eyes word by word. Serena, what do you want? Are you still planning to pursue me? Her eyes reddened, stubbornly biting her lip, not speaking. If you don't speak, I'll take it as you giving up, I said, turning to leave. I haven't. She suddenly hugged me from behind, her voice choked with tears. You jerk? You clearly like me too, why won't you admit it? When did I say I liked you? I stubbornly insisted. She was so angry she couldn't speak, burying her head in my back, softly sobbing. I sighed, turned around, embraced her, and wiped the tears from her face. All right, stop crying, I said helplessly. It won't look good if you keep crying. Mind your own business. She punched me lightly, without much strength. I lowered my head and kissed her lips, a long, gentle kiss. After a long while, our lips parted. I looked into her teary eyes and spoke seriously. Serena, I don't plan to abide by that 1-year agreement. She froze. I smiled, revealing a genuine smile she had never seen before. I want to sign a lifetime agreement. Serena as party B, and me as party A, can only be you. Serena stared at me blankly, taking several seconds to grasp the meaning of my words. Overwhelmed by immense joy and happiness, she said nothing, just held me tightly again, as if trying to melt into my body. Under the sunlight, in the sea of purple flowers, 2 figures embraced each other tightly. In the distant cabin, Chase held a high-powered telescope and excitedly shouted into the phone. Sebastian, my sister succeeded. My brother Lynn. He smiled, he finally smiled. From the other end of the phone came Sebastian's relieved and gratified voice. Excellent. The young master's lying flat endeavor finally has a successor. Then,